Hello and welcome to Innovative Learning Process. Now we'll take the ethics, paper 4, family, moral and ethical behavior. It means that family plays an important role to inculcate the moral values and ethical behavior. So, what aspects should be written in this means perspective answer writing? Role model of ethical values. Family plays an important role in inculcating ethical values. For example, Mahatma Gandhi, his mother taught him like spirituality, truth, such types of and honesty virtues by Mahatma Gandhi's mother, Putli Bai's spirituality and truth, emotional intelligence and compassion. These are such values which are being inculcated by the family persons or family members. Example, Mother Teresa. She learned the acts of charity from her mother's act of charity, and thus she was well known about the works of charity. Cultural and moral norms. Cultural and moral norms. For example, APJ Abdul Kalam, his discipline, tolerance, and secularism was due to the environment of his family backgrounds. Next, accountability and responsibility. Example is Ratan Tata's grandmother, Nawazbai Tata, imbibed the business ethics and CSR activities in the personality of Ratan Tata. So he learned the accountability and responsibility. Next is justice and fairness. Justice and fairness. Nelson Mandela learned justice and fairness from his guardian, the chief Jogin Taba. Justice and reconciliation, and that became the integral part of his life, and he fought the war against the apartheid system in South Africa. So he learned that what kind of justice and fairness should be there in family and in our society. Next is diversity and inclusivity. Diversity and inclusivity. This particular value has been learned by Barack Obama, that equality, pluralism, and this has been learned from his joint family, and those perspectives would become the part of the life of his entire career. Next is self control and discipline. Self control and discipline. Example is Sachin Tendulkar. He learned the perseverance and hard work and resist resist temptation and unethical shortcuts. Generally, nowadays, people are longing for various temptations and they are searching the shortcuts for the success. But this could not work for the entire life. This could be a chance merely and not the clear cut path of the success. So, self control and discipline should be there in a personality. Next is nurturing altruism and service orientation. The example is Kiran Vedi. Kiran Vedi. Sense of duty, service, and kindness. She learned from her family and public service, and this had been reflected in her works like prison reform and public service in her career. Ethical persistence. B.R. Ambedkar. Caste discrimination. His works had been greatly affected from his early life of his family, and thus he gave a path through the drafting of the constitution that caste discrimination should be prohibited. Ethical decision making. Example is Warren Buffett. His honesty, integrity, and corporate responsibility is the result of his family's background. So, ethical decision making power is also coming from the family behavior. And many more aspects are there which is affecting a child's lifestyle. Suppose that it is said that family works as it is known as the school of social life. Family serves as the school of social life. It provides the learning of various fields such as child imitating his elders, and thus he learns the virtues like honesty, theft as well. This is not a good virtue, but also this is this can be said this is vice, but theft as well. Dedication, valor, timidness, responsibility, compassion, sympathy, empathy. These kinds of values are learned by the child in his own family and through the family members as well. Lifestyle like aggressive, moderate, what kind of personality would be of that child. This should be dependent upon the family's background. What is right and wrong? This kind of judgment is also learned through the family background. What kind of ways the family which teaches the lesson like persuasion, peer group, parents. Persuasion means by imitating the elders of doing something that adolescents and children learn from those activities which are being performed by their elders and from their peer groups as well. Parents can have the tactics like reward and punishment. If the child is working very good, then it should be rewarded. And if the child is behaving in an unnatural ways or in harmful manner, then the punishment method would be working. And tolerance, gender parity, equality, those kinds of virtues are being inculcated in children through family members. Forgiveness and not being revengeful. This is a very big quality, to forgive and not to become the revengeful one. Compassion towards the poor and helping needy persons, like to provide the seat to elderly. Those kinds of activities and traits are being learned by the children or the new generations through family members. So this is very important part, that family plays an important role in providing such a qualities. So this should be the better framework of the answer writing in mains examinations. Next question is, transparency brings accountability and good governance. Transparency, what does it mean? It means openness. Transparency means openness, and accountability and honesty. These are the integral parts of the openness and transparency. This must be accessible, understandable, and verifiable. Without these qualities, transparency doesn't fulfill the meaning. Corruption and misuse of power. It prevents the corruption and misuse of power, such as bribery, favoritism, misallocation of funds, such as RTI, PDS system, and in welfare schemes. So, if there is transparency, greater transparency, then lesser the chances are that there would be the cases of bribery or favoritism or misallocation of funds. and this could be used in PDS, public distribution system, and other welfare schemes, such as the tool must be like RTI. The second one, participation. Participation in financial data, policy decisions, and expenditure reports. If there is greater transparency, then there must be the participation of the public in financial data, policy decisions, and expenditure reports. Such as example is PM Kisan portal. PM Kisan portal, to track payments, the farmers can utilize this portal. This is bringing transparency in the governance. Ethical decision making. This is the tool. Transparency brings the tool for ethical decision making. Like the decisions are being made with objectivity. There must be the element of objectivity, need based policy making, and not based upon the vested interests. And the example could be like parliamentary proceedings and legislative debates. Here, whatever the decisions are being taken, that is on consensus basis and not on the whims and fancies of any individual. Next one, efficient public service delivery. Like budget allocation. Budget allocation. Whatever the budget is being allocated, this is purely based upon the needs and requirements of the population and not on the basis of favoritism. And infrastructure projects, welfare schemes. These are the infrastructure projects and welfare schemes, such as DBT and streamlining of subsidy. These are the policy decisions, and these are purely based upon the requirements of the governance. Institutional integrity, like audit mechanism and vigilance mechanism. These are the institutional integrity tools. Bureaucratic and political accountability, such as through Lokpal Act, CVC. These are the tools. Citizens awareness, like My Gov India. This is the portal where citizens can have the access of the policy decisions made by the government, and also people can raise their own concerns and they can give the suggestions to the government. So policy feedback is also available on this portal. This raise this raises the awareness in citizens and also ensure the participatory governance. Crisis management and disaster response. Transparency brings these elements like in disaster response and crisis management. The most important factor is that when it comes to the fund allocation, relief measures, and medical supplies, the governance is much more pragmatic because resources are very limited, but the beneficiaries might be very huge, and whatever the criteria should be taken, that should be based upon the transparent manner, that upon these criteria this fund allocation is being done. And same in relief measures, whatever the relief measures are being taken, that should be oriented with the need based, such as example is COVID portal. This provided the data that the persons who can get the vaccines in COVID-19 period on the priority basis. This will provide the real time information to the government. Next part is that without transparency and accountability, without transparency, if there is no transparency but there is accountability, then it is merely illusion and nothing more than, because arbitrary governance must be biased and its policies are also biased if there is no accountability. Corruption and favoritism, these elements might be there. Public access could be denied and more secrecy could be maintained. Thus, governance would be unaccountable. People can't have access to the government. Corruption and misuse of accountability. Corruption and misuse of accountability. Like opaque governance, cases might be of bribery, favoritism, fund misappropriation. Example is 2G spectrum, coal block scam. Next is institutional integrity and public trust. Institutional integrity and public trust. Protecting corrupt officers from scrutiny if there is no accountability. Ethical erosion and nepotism. The cases might be that of hiding financial details and suppress reports due to favoritism and nepotism, and thus general public could not have the access to the government data. Inefficiency and poor public service delivery, misallocation of the resources, Bureaucratic lethargy would be there if there is no accountability. Next one, bad impact would be political and administrative manipulation. Misreporting of economic data, the cases might be, and create false image of the governance. Whatever is not there, that could be depicted to create the false image of the government. Suppressing, example is that suppressing crime data so that the ground reality could not be unearthed before the public. And in this regard, Kofi Annan said, good governance is perhaps the single most important factor in eradication poverty and promoting development. So, good governance should be maintained at any cost.